It's goblin time. Fresh and buds now.
Fresh and
All right, buds. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds. It is Thanksgiving week here in the States, and this is always a pretty chill episode, kind of talking about what we're thankful for, etc., etc. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I am in a different studio. I moved this week, and this is probably the cleanest area in this new house that I'm in, which is cool, but it is chaos. It is a chaotic, talented house right now with boxes everywhere, so we're unpacking them. But of course, I wanted to hop on, get a nice little episode in, talk about what I'm thankful for, what I'm looking forward to, and maybe some hot takes here and there as well. And maybe we'll hear from some people that we all know and love in this community as well. It has been one heck of a year, and I'm hoping that this holiday, if you celebrate, that you're getting some time to relax, maybe, spending time with family. But if you aren't spending time with family, that's okay too. Hopefully seeing some friends, maybe even just sitting down and jamming a couple Tile Shark games if that's all you can do. I can understand that sometimes the holidays are stressful, but if you ever want to chat with anybody, the buds got you. And you can always reach out to me or join the Discord, the Buds Discord. A lot of great people in there as well. I am going to be listing off some things I'm thankful for this year, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Last week, we did a nice little mailbag. I know it's 2 solo eps back to back. Sorry, it's a very busy time for me right now, but we'll be back to getting guests on next week. But that doesn't mean we won't be hearing from some people this episode. Now, it has been an awesome year for the channel, I will say, and I'm very thankful for that. We've gotten to really grow the channel. I feel like the podcasting, in my opinion, has been a lot of fun, and hopefully that's been reflected with people listening. So if you agree, let me know for sure. But I do want to kind of take a moment to, talk about the new buds that we made on the channel over the year. We get a lot of repeat guests, but, there's always new people to have on the show. And since last Thanksgiving, we've had a decent amount of new buds to chat with. And just want to give them all a shout out, right? Last year, it was November 28th that it was right after I got married. So first of all, I am thankful for that, but we'll get to that, the personal stuff. But in terms of people from the community, let's see, December 5th, 2024, we had Bryce from 03 Dropcast, just an awesome dude. It was a great time chatting with him, and, love the community out in Pittsburgh because it just breeds great people. You got like Sin, aka Matt, you got Smithel, you got Poopy, you got John from Linktree Sports Cards. It just like everybody's great out there. It's just so much fun. It's just like a lot of warmth too, which I always really appreciated. So got to give a shout out to the Pittsburgh community and Bryce as well, who was a lot of fun to have on. After that, I think we had him on twice in the past year, but Boosting Spendog, who is just amazing, just so much fun, right? Just a ball of energy, a different generation from me, right? It's kind of crazy to like start in your mind. You're saying I'm still young, and then you meet somebody who is the young generation, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the kids are going to be all right, as they say. And Boosting Spendog, Spencer, is just so much fun. And it's been awesome to see, him really play well this year, right? Winning a Battle Harden, in Sydney was in the top 8, I believe. And being absolutely like a joy to watch on the stream. So, Boosting Spin Dog, got to give a shout out to you. Pretty sure we had you on twice this past year since last Thanksgiving. And, hopefully many more to come because you are just a lot of fun. And I'm hoping everybody enjoys Boosting Spin Dog as much as I do as well because it is a blast. Then we had Liv from T and TCG. And, talk about a meteoric rise. I feel like that's a word that's always tough for me to say. There's a lot of words that are always tough for me to say, which is like probably a sign maybe I shouldn't have a podcast, but that's all right. But Liv is just awesome. Such a great content creator and is now, I believe, working with LSS, which is huge. First of all, I mean, that has to be the dream. We all want to work with that company because they just, make this insanely good product that we've been talking about day in and day out for so many years now. So, got to give a shout out to Liv. She was an absolute pleasure to have on the show and to get to know, and really just kind of like is like a pro. You could just kind of tell she is like locked in. She knows what content is all about and like what people really respond well to. And I really respect that about Liv. So shout out to Liv and congratulations with, all your success that you've been having. After that, I think I had a solo show. Oh boy. You poor folks having to listen to me. Another new bud that we had on the show, Alex, aka Ashen Wings TCG. They were just awesome to have on and a nice fresh perspective. And to be honest, I got to get Alex back on because Alex really is into the budget stuff. And we are on the cusp of Silver Age being a mainstream format for this game. And it is the definition of a budget format. And I'm excited for it. We've talked about it almost every week now. We're going to be talking about it a lot. This is crazy. I never would have thought that I'd be talking so much about a 20 health hero format. Although, Riptide's 19 health. But, Alex was great. Great people. Just really cool to see. We both actually premiered our Super Slam spoiler at the same time. So, it was kind of fun to see theirs and next to mine, which, obviously I had this like weird, like, whatever. I do stupid videos when I do it, but then like I felt like Alex did like a really nice, like serious version of this visit the boneyard. I think that's the name of the card. And that was really cool to see as well. So shout out to Alex. And then also shout out to Ponkish, who we had on. And I mean, everybody knows Ponkish, now of Arsenal past fame, but just an amazing commentator. Honest, it brings such a good vibe to the streams for this game. And I think that's just really kind of something you can't even put a price on, right? With something like this, with a game like this, someone who can bring knowledge, but also passion, and then also like elite professionalism is super impressive. And, Ponkish was a lot of fun to have on the show as well because, he's a busy guy. I was very appreciative of him giving his time to me. So, and us. So yeah, Ponkish, you're the man. Hope you're having a good one. After that, we had, another commentator, Scott Howling Minds. I mean, talk about someone who's really planted themselves into this game. I know that Scott makes a lot of content, or, writes a lot for other games and makes content for other games, but really has found a home with Flesh and Blood and gets on stream and just kills it, right? That is just so cool to see. And it's honestly a lot of fun. Brings another great version of energy to the streams and is a natural, performer. And I think that that's something that is incredible about Scott. And we're all very thankful that Scott is on these streams, and it's looking like they're here to stay. So it's very exciting. Now, talk about, this is someone I've known, right? Seen at events, but got on the show finally was TCG Ted. And honestly, I can't wait. I might be reaching out to Ted sooner rather than later to get him back on, because I had such a blast having Ted on this show. And I just feel like we just gelled a lot. Whenever I see Ted at events, I'm just like, oh, like, let's chat a little bit. And we both, I feel like the best thing about Ted is he has a huge imagination and like where this game can go. And I feel like that's something that we share. And when we chat, I just feel like I feel us go down the road together of like, oh, what if it's this? That's so crazy. When I was watching the keynote in Philadelphia the other week, me and Ted were next to each other. We're like, what? That's crazy. The antiquity pack? I don't know about that, but I mean, maybe that was more me. But Ted's awesome. We finally had Kiki on, and Kiki was just amazing. They're just, a staple for this game. Been with it since the beginning, and you know what, Kiki, I hope that we continue to get Prism support. I don't want that, but when I see someone like Kiki who just loves Prism so much, I can concede to it and say, hey, I guess we should get more Illusionist stuff, and I guess Prism stuff as well. Although Prism's eating pretty good right now, I would say. But speaking of Prism, did we have Smurf on twice this year? I think we did. We had almost two huge Prism people back to back. Kiki and then Kevin Smurf Murphy, who, off the rip of just an amazing performance with Prism and kind of making a name for himself with that deck in CC. Kevin is awesome. We've kind of been buddies for a little bit now, and he brings such a fun vibe to pit against William's show on the table pit, and it is just such a cool dynamic over there. And I also appreciate about Kevin that when things don't go the way he wants it to, right? These are the facts of life when you play a tournament, and especially if you're playing at a high level, you have to reflect, right? And you can respond in multiple different ways. You can just kind of beat yourself up, but I always feel like Kevin's like, lot to learn. I have to look at this and learn from it. And I think that is a great thing to look at and be like that. I think that's a good way to be honest. But that's just me. If you disagree, drop it in the comments. Let's see. Who else did we get for the first time? I think we had Lupine Fiasco twice this year. John's amazing. This is somebody that, I've watched their content for a minute, and then I'm like, okay, I got to get Lupine Fiasco on here. And I just feel like just a pleasant person to talk to. One of those guys that I was like, okay, I would love chatting with Lupine as much as possible. And I respect his grind with the game as well as content and his perspective. And I think that is super cool, and somebody I hope to continue to collaborate with and have back on the show. And I hope everybody also likes John as much as I do, because Lupine is just a lot of fun and really just like kind of like has this, I like this kind of dry sarcasm that Lupine Fiasco brings. It makes me chuckle quite a bit. So got to give a shout out to Lupine. Very thankful for you. Now, this is a name that we might be seeing later, but somebody I've known for a long time, but got on the show, for the first time. Jesse Harper, a great player, a good bud, a great Riptide, maestro, I guess you would say, has given me a lot of great lists that I've done well with. And then Jesse won a PQ with Riptide. I guess that was Pro Tour Singapore. Yeah, it had to have been Pro Tour Singapore Pro Quest season. And, it was fun getting Jesse on, talking about the list, doing like the kind of like, the deck techie thing, but like incorporating it into podcast form. Jesse was a lot of fun, and always great seeing him at events as well. Followed by, we got Joshua Scott on the show for the first time, and this was an interesting endeavor because I felt like trying to get Josh on, and then just timing didn't work out, and I'm like, will this ever happen? And then it did, and then Josh is like the best. So much fun, just a kind person, funny. You would think like the head judge, the rules guru is gonna be uptight and everything's got to be. Joshua Scott just is like a lot of fun, and based on like I didn't have a lot of time to record that day, but we still did an hour and 20. And I know from certain other podcasts Joshua Scott's been on that those could go for like 3-4 hours. So maybe the next time we get Joshua Scott on, things are going to get a little wild. But just really appreciative of his passion for, I think, well, first of all, the game and the rules and like, the talent that goes into that, but also like is very involved in the community and, just has really goodwill towards the good faith people in the community, I think. And that is important, right? Like you want that out of your like kind of ambassadors for the game coming from the company. So very, very cool. Another great caster, but also great player that we had on for the first time was Ellie Bird. And Ellie was, we all know how great Ellie is, because Ellie is just energy. Like energy incarnate, right? You just like pop Ellie on and they're just going to wow you with like just this amazing amount of enthusiasm and like just like a great chatter, right? Like it was just a good chat, and super grateful and thankful for Ellie because, they're doing it, right? Like this is another person that you see on the broadcast. You're like, yes. So we had like a lot of great broadcasters on this year, which is awesome. I'm very thankful for it. Got to give a shout out to episode 200. We did have Brian Gottlieb on. Not the first time, but it's always good to see Brian on the show. Let's see. Any other first timers? Flesh and Bad, Tegan and Aurora, we had on a double special. They were both on together, and they're awesome. It was just great chatting with them, and they are doing so much for the content game in this sphere. They did that awesome charity 24-hour stream. I was lucky enough to be able to hop on for part of it, and they just are doing amazing stuff. Super funny thumbnails. It is a lot of fun. And, if for them and anybody that I've talked about so far, if you haven't checked them out yet, go check them out because they're all excellent. Moving on, who else did we have on for the first time? Enki, who is just amazing. I love Enki. I love seeing Enki. It's amazing. Enki Dupac. Oh man, I'm gonna mess up the name. Dupaquier. Sorry. Who, second place at Pro Tour Singapore. Great French player. Kind of like the heartbeat of, I think, the French scene in a lot of ways. Has Findles Cafe, and just like has like a great presence in the community. And then, get Enki on the show. A lot of fun. We had a great chat. And then like I see Enki at 2 events after that, Montreal and then Philly. And just chatting with Enki is just amazing. And, it just kind of reminds you how cool it is to have like made friends from all over the world. And that's super cool. And speaking of all around the world, Scowling Fleshbag we had on, and he was awesome. And honestly, got to give a shout out to Scowling Fleshbag's new podcast, A Pound of Flesh, 16-minute episodes. So that's pretty cool. We're already at 20 minutes here. So we've already surpassed the pound of flesh, but Scowling Fleshbag, just so much fun. Great streamer, great personality, good steward for the game, and I think has pretty balanced takes as well. And gets excited. I like when content creators get excited about things, and I think it's so important. Did we have anybody else new? Yes, we did. AgroBlaze96, another insane meteoric rise. I feel like this past year especially, and kind of being the leading force in Flesh and Blood streaming right now. I'm seeing Zach show up on my TikTok feed. I'm like, oh my God, he's just so good at what he's doing, and also just like so positive, right? This is somebody that I look at. I'm like, okay, big bud energy, excellent. This is the kind of people I want on this show, and I want in this community. So got to give a shout out to Zach. Then we also had BIOS Update, aka Grant, who we might be hearing from later. We'll see. But Grant, amazing content. Doing the great video essay style content, which we all really love. And it's a lot of work, and that's why we don't have a lot of it. But, when somebody's doing it, it's excellent. Grant's also a great person who, raised a lot of money for Trans Lifeline, which was a lot of fun as well. And we just had a great chat. Just a total sweetheart, and love Grant. Very thankful for a bud like that. And then we had, who do we have next? Carol, LSS Carol, who I don't think I ever asked him how to pronounce his last name because it is a doozy. But Carol, what else is there to say about Carol? He brought us another blue 6 in Rhinar. But just a real wealth of knowledge. And I think truly another person like Joshua Scott is like really cares about the community, is tapped in, and was a great person to chat with, and has like this real kind of warmth to him, and which is kind of, it's nice to feel that coming from a developer. It's nice. I enjoyed it. So Carol is very cool. Hopefully get to meet him in person at some point. A lot of the devs would be cool to meet in person. After that, another first timer we had was Amy from Smashing Good Team. Had a nice Brute chat. Amy was awesome. Very, just I think brings a different perspective to Brute, I feel like, which I enjoyed as well. I'm excited to hopefully meet Amy at some point. I also want to get the rest of Smashing Good Team on the podcast. So I'll, when I'm settled, I guess I'll be reaching out to them. But just a great chat, and honestly, I'm just thankful that we got some more Brute heads out there. We have a lot of great Brute content creators, but I think we can have more. Like, I'll talk about it in a second. This was a year that kind of brought me back to Brute, and Super Slam really did that. After that, we had Arthur Chahey. One of the GOATs. If listen, there is a conversation to be had. Arthur is probably, in that conversation, bordering that conversation. But Arthur is just such a great player, and it was cool to pick his brain and get to know him a little bit. So very thankful for Arthur, even just giving us the time. Was traveling a lot, was about to travel to Philly, gave us a nice sliver of his time, and that was very cool. And then after that, our last first time guest on the show this year, Tattled Down. Thor, who is just, I mean, I love Tattledown's content. It is just, it itches a part of my brain that I love. I love the way he speaks. And I was super thankful just to like get the time to chat with him and just talk about, like, I feel like Tattle's perspective is similar to mine when it comes to like using content to get better at the game, but he's better at it. And I'm just here yapping. But, it was awesome. And, he was super kind and gave me some really kind words as well. So those were all the newcomers this year. I mean, that was a lot. I feel like, that's the beautiful thing about this game. It continues to grow and we can continue to get new people to talk to. Obviously, I love having people back on the show. That is one of my favorite things about like making buds in the game. But it was, I think, a great year for podcasting and getting to know people. But, in terms of the game, I'm very thankful for a lot of things, right? I think I'm grateful for some of the tools that Riptide got, mostly Take the Bait. But also, like I mentioned before, I mean, both Tough Nut and RKO have really brought me back to Brutes in a big way. So I'm like thinking more about Brute. I'm brewing with Brute. It's like very fun. And, as much as I love Riptide, I've brewed a billion Riptide decks. I think I'm ready to brew some other heroes. So it's been really cool. I've just really loved what LSS has kind of dealt up for a player like me this year. And while the meta right now is not my favorite, I am excited for what CC is going to look like, with the release of Compendium and whatever else happens in terms of bans and stuff like that. I'm thankful that LL didn't seem to flop as much as I thought it might at Worlds. That being said, I'm thankful that they're going to take a step back and reevaluate that format, and then also give Silver Age a chance to shine. I'm very thankful for Silver Age. I know there's a lot of questions right now. What is Compendium going to do for that format? How are these early tournaments going to really shake out, like how they view a ban list, stuff like that? There's a lot of questions in the air, and I think maybe next week we get a ban announcement for all formats, but I do not know where it will go, but I still have a lot of faith in the format. I think that the voting system could work in theory, and I see some people's kind of hesitancy on it, and like saying that like content creators and stuff like that will kind of lead the charge, and the loud voices will lead the charge on what to ban. But I've found that if you say something, like even me as a content creator, if I say something, there's going to be a lot of people that will disagree with my stance. So I think that it's good to have the content creators, pose the ideas, right? And, we'll about who we should vote out. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And like, how many people are just playing Silver Age and not listening or not tapped into the game's YouTube or anything like that, right? Like they could just be like, oh yeah, I just jammed Silver Age decks and events, and then I get that email. I'm like, well, I really hated like losing to Cavdane or whatever, so I'm gonna vote for Cavdane. So like, I feel like that's always on the table. But excited to see what it's going to mean for the game otherwise. Now, in terms of personal stuff I'm thankful for, not since, but I did get married last year. That's been awesome. And, was very blessed to be able to go on a really awesome honeymoon in Scotland, drank a lot of great whiskey, ate a lot of good food, some great seafood. And, that was a great experience, and just experience like the nature, to just like get out there and hike. And those are things I love to do. I gotta say, it was a tumultuous year in terms of my living situation, but we just bought a house and we're in it right now, and that's what this past week has been, is moving into it. There's a lot to do, I'll tell you that much, folks, and I am I'm excited. I am so excited to do a lot of housework. Not really, but I am thankful that we were able to pull it off, and I think it's been very cool. And honestly, I'm thankful that I'm still able to do this podcast. I think this is my in times when things are too busy, this is my connection with the community and the game. And then like I'll have these great spurts where I can just be like 100% into the game, and then like responsibilities come creeping back, and I'm back at it. But I always have this podcast, which I think is excellent. So yeah, thankful for that. Thankful for all the buds. I mean, I mentioned all the first time, guests this year, but I had a lot of repeat guests that I love to have on, and just like I've made a lot of great friends in this game, and I think that's worth bringing up, and I think it's worth saying. I mean, if you made good friends from this game, say it out loud. It's good. It's hard to make friends as adults. I watched. This is like probably a little dark and too personal, but I watched my dad not have a lot of friends like as an adult growing up. So like I'm happy that I have a lot of friends. So very cool. Now, I do have some messages that I got from some buds and in Philadelphia. I tried to go around and get some messages from some buds when I could, and if I can catch them. I didn't get that many, but we're going to go through some, and then we're going to say goodbye. And I hope you all enjoy the time off if you have it, or I hope you just enjoy this time of year. It's a good time of year to get cozy and play some card games, I think. So whether you celebrate things or not, I think that this could be a really positive time of year. Now let's hear from our first bud.
Hey buds, it's DM Armada. I am so thankful this year that we got news of a new budget format called Silver Age. And the number one card I'm looking to play in Silver Age is Riptide. That's right.
And that was our bud, Steven Cookies with Cookies, DM Armada. Just, let's call a spade, the content creator for this game. And, has been such a positive influence, and, really makes it work. Is a dad with a full-time job, and like makes great videos, and has all those subscribers. And is a good friend. And last time he was on the show, which I think was this year, episode 206 in July, we had a great time chatting as always on the pod, but also afterwards we chatted for like an hour just about stupid Riptide builds and stuff like that, and that was like really, really cool. And really thankful for someone like Steven to have in the community, and as a bud as well. Now, who is next?
Hi, I'm Bios Update. I'm thankful for playing this game in the Flesh and Blood, and I'm excited to play Dash in Silver Age.
Well, that was Grant, aka Bios Update, who we talked about already on the show, but is worth noting. Just was cool to chat with in person, and of course is stoked for Dash, right? For context, I asked all these people what they're thankful for and what hero they're excited to play in Silver Ages. And of course, Bios Update says Dash. Should have been Data Doll. I don't even know. Is Data Doll even legal in the set? I don't know. If Data Doll is legal, can't be good. It can't be good at all. But Grant's awesome. Always excited to see what new videos will be coming out from BIOS Update. Now, moving on.
Hey buds, I am Elaine Hammondtree, like bacon on bush or pork on shrubbery. And this year in Flesh and Blood, I'm thankful for all of my friends. I love coming to these events. We're at the World Championship in Philadelphia right now. I'm thankful that we get to spend weekends like these. I'm maybe I don't know. Also thankful for Gravy Bones. I love having a hero in CC that's not Kasai. Don't tell her I said that. And in Silver Age, I'm definitely most excited to play Kasai.
That was Elaine Hammondtree, aka, well, not aka, but Bacon on Bush, Pork on Shrubbery. Now, Elaine is one of my favorite people, and super thankful to have her as a friend. Has, been there for me in tough times, and also just every single time we see each other, it's just laughs, right? You just gotta love a bud. It's just, you're gonna laugh with. And that's what Elaine is, and she's just amazing. Always great to see her, and she was great to see at Philadelphia as well, and hopefully at more events in the future. Moving on to...
Hi, buds. My name is Logan Peterson from Flesh and Pod, and I think the thing I'm most thankful about in Flesh and Blood this year has been the way that the community has sort of become a more galvanized force for good. We're really not in those like trenches anymore, and instead we're in that loop where the good is amplifying the good, and we just keep getting better for it. And you go to these events like we are right now at the World Championship, and it's really remarkable how kind and how much fun everybody is having. Even like the random things are perfect. For Silver Age, it's Briar. I mean, I'm always going to play Briar. And I like when decks are optional to play blues. So, yeah, I'm just going to play Briar.
And of course, that was Logan Peterson of Flesh and Pod, who is the co-host to Charmer, who maybe will show up at the end of the show. We'll see. But Logan's great. Just always just a lot of warmth and just ready for a big bear hug every time you see Logan, and just is kind of like a perpetual face in the game, and especially at these events. It's just Logan just is larger than life and just a real sweet man, and and very opinionated too, which, we need that. We need that. So we're all thankful for Logan's opinions. And, also we have a shared love of beer, which is cool. And we also have this person.
Hey buds, I'm Jesse Harper, and the thing I'm the most thankful for in Flesh and Blood this year is a return to supplemental sets to support a brand new format that's going to come out in the competitive circuit. And the hero I'm most excited to play in Silver Age is Talishar Lexi.
And that was Jesse Harper, who we talked about earlier. And of course, mentions Talishar Lexi in Silver Age, which I would expect nothing less. And honestly, I hope it works. I mean, or maybe I don't want it to work. That might be too scary. I've seen how powerful that Blitz deck was. But gotta love Jesse. As I said before, just an awesome bud, and has been for quite a few years now. Now, moving on to somebody else we talked about earlier, it is...
Hey buds, this is Lupine Fiasco here at Calling Philadelphia. What I am most thankful for in 2025 Flesh and Blood is actually the announcement of Silver Age as a real competitive format. And the hero I'm most excited about for Silver Age is Briar. It has been too long since I've had a Lightning Rune Blade, and this one even gets to play Earth.
And that was Lupine Fiasco, who we love, and I will continue to wax poetically about that awesome bud. But always fun to see John. Well, actually, it was the first time I think we met in person, but feels like I've known him for years. And someone else that I feel like I've known for years is...
Hey buds, my name is Joshua Scott. The thing that I'm most thankful for this year are all my friends and family, especially my Flesh and Blood family here at the World Championship Philadelphia. My favorite hero in Silver Age is Arachne Solitary Confinement.
Joshua Scott, who just is so you know what? I'm gonna say it. Super cute. Just like love chatting with Joshua. Just amazing. And Arachne Solitary Confinement for the Silver Age. Pretty interesting. I wonder who the next person is going to pick for Silver Age.
Hey buds, I'm Daniel Rakowski. This year I am most thankful for my team, and I'm most excited to play Chain, of course, in Silver Age.
Daniel Rakowski, local bud, and as long as I've known him, has loved Chain. So obviously is going to be playing Chain in Silver Age, and it's looking like that is the deck to beat. But you know what? I've talked about what I'm thankful for, but I haven't said the hero that I am excited to play in Silver Age, and that is Riptide, of course. I think he's good. I think he could be good. So we'll see. I don't know. It depends on how the meta shapes out, but we got a couple more people, and then it's, well, you know what? Let me close out the show, and we'll close out with those last buds. Is it Charmer? We'll see. Thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a good one. I'll see you next week. Leave a comment, a like, a subscription to the channel. If you listen on Spotify or anything like that, make sure you like it or whatever, rate it. And then check out the Patreon. I've been doing solo bonus apps every week. And then, we have new Talishar sleeves as well. And then also Fresh Juice is a podcast I do with my cousin. We talk about indie video games. And then also, what else? Buds Discord, Blue Sky at freshbudspod. Thank you all. And we have our final. Is it Charmer? We'll see. If it's not Charmer, I'm sure the video of Charmer will come next. But here we go.
Hey buds, it's Mr. Viz here. Hope you're having a good holiday. This year I'm most thankful for having everybody in Philadelphia. Go Birds! Welcome to my hometown. It's been awesome seeing everybody, and I know a lot of you went to a cheesesteak place and you weren't happy with it, and that's okay. You just have to go to a better one next time. And the hero I'm most excited to play in Silver Age is Viscerai. Duh, it's been so long. I mean, when are we getting the new one, Brian? Anyway, he's been a good time and happy to be here.
Hey, I'm Darth Prentice. The thing I'm most thankful for is Shadowbox altars that cool people like Nathaniel do. I am most excited to play Zen in Silver Age because I like cats, and Zen makes cats.
Happy Thanksgiving.